Hey there, 4th grade. Going to spend today talking about metric units of weight. So go ahead and make this the title of the next page in your math notebook. After you have done that, close it up, mark your page, and just concentrate till we get to we do. Alright, so last time we talked about metric units of length and distance. So that was measuring things, how long things are, how tall things are, how far things are away. And we used this mnemonic: King Henry died, don't forget the base, drinking chocolate milk. And we talked about how the common metric units of distance or length or height or distance are kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. And what's really nice is this is going to work the same way as we talk about measuring things weight today. We're still going to get to use this King Henry thing. The metric system is very easy to follow because it uses the same method for everything. So we're going to talk today about weight, which is measuring how heavy things are. So we're going to be using the metric system. So the ones we're going to mostly talk about are called kilograms, which is the K, kilo. Grams are the base, and milligrams are often used too. Just like with metric, all these other ones exist. Hectograms exist, decagrams exist, decigrams, centigrams, but people don't really use them. So these are the ones we're going to talk about the most often. And actually, I even have that here on this slide. So, this is sloppy. Let me erase this. I kept this from last year thinking I could go ahead through again. And I should not have. So, yeah, so here we go. So when we talk about weighing things in the metric system, you're used to probably weighing things in pounds in our system. And we'll get to our system probably next week. In the metric system, they don't use pounds. The base unit is called grams. So when you look here at the base, kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, milli, weight. Grams is the base unit. And that is common. If you, I want to give you an idea of what a gram feels like. So a gram is more or less how much something is not much. It's maybe the weight of like a paper clip. If you imagine holding one paper clip in your hand, that's around a gram. They're very small. You know, a meter was not that small when we did the base unit for distance, but a gram is quite small. And so a gram is about the weight. And since that's so small, they don't use grams to weigh things that are very heavy. Like you wouldn't want to weigh yourself in grams, because if you think about how many paper clips you weigh, it's a humongous number. And so grams are not used to measure anything very heavy. So they often use the largest thing on this King Henry called the kilogram to weigh big things, like where we would talk about pounds, people in Europe or Canada or wherever would talk about kilograms. So a kilogram, if you want to imagine how much a kilogram is, if you imagine like a regular sized water bottle, this is like the, pretty much the size water bottle you would bring. If you fill that up with water, a regular sized water bottle, that's about a kilogram. It's more than a pound, so it's somewhat heavy-ish, but not super heavy. So if you imagine not how much water's in it, but if you filled up a water bottle and held it, that's about 1 kilogram. So I'd love it if you paused and did that right now, just so you got an idea of how much a kilogram feels like. And so that one is used a lot. Hectograms and decagrams are not used much, but kilograms are. So I'm just going to put like bottle of water, full bottle of water up here. That's about. Also, if it helps, it's somewhere around, it's more than 2 pounds, but it's less than 2.5 pounds. If you want to imagine how much a kilo, you probably know how much a pound is roughly. Paperclip. A kilogram is more than 2 pounds. It's less than 2.5 pounds. So, like I weigh like 165 pounds. I don't know the exact number what I weigh in kilograms, but if you went to the doctor, say in Europe or Canada, they wouldn't measure you in pounds. They would measure you in kilograms. So I weigh something like 60 or 70 kilograms, kg, K for kilo, G for gram. So if you imagine something like that. So if you weigh, say, 100 pounds, you probably weigh something like 40 kilograms. So, and that's if you, like I said, if you went to the doctor in Europe or in Canada or whatever, they would measure you in kilograms, and you would know your weight in kilograms. Milligrams are extremely small. If you imagine taking a paper clip, this is 10, 100, 1,000 times smaller than a gram. It's super, 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 super teeny, a milligram. I mean, it's 1/1000th of a paper clip in weight. Extremely, extremely, extremely small. The way you usually see them is in medicines. So I have some here. This is ibuprofen. This is what you would take if you have like a headache or a muscle ache. If you look down here, it says 200 milligrams each in the pill. That doesn't mean the pill weighs 200 milligrams. That means the amount of the pill that is that medicine is 200 milligrams. So they're very, very, very small. This pill probably weighs a gram. I'm just going to guess it's very little. But 200 milligrams of ibuprofen are in it. I'm sure there's some other things in there to make it take up more space. But that's where you usually see milligrams. You usually see it in medicine, or if you go to the hospital, they'll do that too. So it's really small. Or science, where you're talking about really small things, sometimes you'll see milligrams as well. So that's the main ones you're gonna see: kilograms, grams, milligrams. But I do want to take some time and show you how to convert them. But you're gonna see that it's very similar to before. Let's see. So this was I did in class last year. So I don't have a we do ready. So an I do ready. So let me pause real quick and make ta-da. So I weigh about 70 kilograms. Like I said, I estimated that. I don't know my exact kilogram weight. How many grams does he weigh? So I told you a gram's like a paper clip, so it's going to be a big number. And you're going to see why you wouldn't want to measure your weight in grams. So we're going to convert this the same way we did with distances, right? We're going to use King Henry. King Henry died, base, drinking, chocolate, milk. And look what we know. So I'm given the kilograms. I weigh about 70 kilograms. So that goes here. So I would weigh 70 kilograms. And just like with the distance, each time you go down one space on the chart, you're multiplying by 10. So there are 10 hectograms in 1 kilogram. So I want to know how many grams I weigh. That's the base. So I'm going to keep going till I get here. So 10 hectograms are in a kilogram. So I multiply by 10 here. 70 times 10 is 700. So I weigh 70 kilograms. I also weigh 700 hectograms. Again, not a unit you're ever going to hear. There are 10 decagrams in a hectogram. So each of those 700 is 10 decagrams. So I weigh 700 times 10 is 7,000 decagrams. And there are 10 grams in a decagram. So I multiply by 10 one more time, and I find out that I weigh about 70,000 grams. 70,000 times the weight of a paperclip. Huge number, and it would just be weird. I don't know why. It just seems like it would be weird if people's weight was 70,000, or yours is probably half of mine, 35,000 grams. Like, I don't know why, but people don't do that. But we use the same method to convert here. If I were to keep going, I can do that. Down from here, it's another times 10. Another times 10. We talked about how small milligrams are. You want to know how many milligrams I weigh? It's a lot. It would be 700,000 of these decigrams, 7 million centigrams, and 70 million milligrams. So again, you can imagine why we don't weigh people in milligrams. Humongous number. All these are the same amount. 70 kilograms is the same as 700 hectograms, is the same as 7,000 decagrams, is the same as 70,000 grams, is the same as 70 million milligrams. They all are the same amount. It's just a matter of what unit you're showing it in. All right, grab your notebook and open up for We Do. All right, so I love these cookies called Lenny and Larry's cookies. That may be backwards to you. Love these. Delicious, delicious, delicious. And they put a lot of healthy things in them. If you look down the nutrition, it's like a cookie and it tastes awesome, but it's also full of lots of healthy stuff. It's like a way to get vitamins and stuff. And so one of the things they're always advertising on the front is there are 16 grams of protein per cookie. Now the cookies are huge, so they're heavy. They weigh way more than 16 grams. But of the whole weight, 16 of the grams are protein. So a Lenny and Larry cookie, that's the brand name, has 16 grams of protein. How many milligrams of protein is that? So let's calculate. So a Lenny and Larry cookie has 16 grams of protein. So that a gram is the base, 16g, little g means gram. So I'm starting here at the base unit. Okay? So 16 grams, and I want to know how many milligrams, that's the M down at the bottom. So it's going to be a lot. Milligrams are very small, so it's going to be a very big number. So same process as last time. There are 10 decigrams in a gram. So there are 160 decigrams of protein in that cookie. There are 10 centigrams in a decigram, so there are 1,600, 2 zeros now, centigrams of protein in that cookie. And times 10, 16,000 milligrams. Little m is milli. So our answer is 16,000 milligrams. Makes it sound really healthy, doesn't it? 16 grams is one thing, but like you can just skew what you're saying by just changing the unit, right? So, oh man, this cookie has 16,000 milligrams of protein. Sounds like you're like the healthiest person ever. Like, way to go, you. Like, you're just like really getting your nutrition, even though it's the exact same amount. And it would actually sound really lame if you went higher, like the decagram, it works, it goes backwards. You can't take off a 0. It would actually be 1 6/10 of these. 1 6/10 decagrams. And that makes you sound not healthy at all, even though it's the same amount. Oh yeah, I got 1 6/10. Almost 2 decagrams of protein. I'm so healthy. People would be like, no, you're not. So there you go. So that's how you convert metric units of weight. Hopefully that made sense. It's just like converting units of distance. The metric system is really nice like that. All the things use the same labels, and they all use these tens, and so it's all a breeze to do. So if you feel like you have a handle on this after these, you are all set. See you tomorrow.